What appeared before Lin Dong was an endless expanse of dark space, vast and boundless. It resembled a deep night sky, its darkness seeping into the bones, evoking an instinctive fear. Of course, what shocked Lin Dong wasn't merely the darkness itself, but the sight within it. Rivers of magma, each thousands of meters wide, slowly flowing through the space like massive, intricate veins of fire, crisscrossing the darkness. From his high vantage point, Lin Dong gazed down. These immense rivers of magma seemed like colossal magma dragons, lying silently in the depths of the dark space, their vastness both awe-inspiring and oppressive. He stared in shock at this overwhelming spectacle, the most magnificent sight he had ever seen. He couldn't help but wonder what kind of being could possess such earth-shattering power to create something of this magnitude. Gulp. The astonishment lingered on Lin Dong's face for a long while before he gradually collected himself. He swallowed, glancing back at the red circle of light, about 10 meters wide, from which he had jumped earlier. No one could have expected that beneath the magma stone pool, there wasn't just magma, but this mysterious dark space. His hands clenched slightly from the tension. This world was far too secretive. Originally, he had thought the Crimson Plaza outside was the secret beneath the lake, but now it was clear that had merely been a decoy. The real secret lay here, beneath the magma stone pool. Even the three-headed demonic flood dragon probably hadn't discovered this place. And if Lin Dong hadn't been forced into a corner, he might not have willingly jumped into the pool himself. What kind of place is this? Lin Dong frowned as his mind began to calm from the initial shock. The sheer scale of this place suggested it wasn't something that an ordinary powerhouse could have constructed. Whoever had created this, and hidden it so deeply, clearly didn't want anyone to discover its existence. The dark space remained silent, as if it had been this way for an eternity. In such a mysterious and unpredictable place, Lin Dong didn't dare to move recklessly. He knew that any small mistake here could lead to his demise. So, he stood just outside the red circle that connected to the magma stone pool, his sharp gaze carefully scanning the crisscrossing magma rivers. He kept searching for almost an hour. As time passed, his eyes, faintly reflecting the red glow of the magma, gradually filled with horror. He had discovered that these rivers of magma seemed to form an unimaginably large formation. This formation spanned over 100,000 meters. Its size was so enormous that even Lin Dong was left in a daze, utterly shocked by the scale of it. It took him a while to regain his composure. What terrifying power! To be able to set up a formation like this? Lin Dong wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. He had no doubt that this magma formation possessed the power to destroy worlds. If anyone were to fall into it, even a death mystique stage expert would surely perish. Even powerhouses like EngShuanzi and Tian Yuanzi, who had reached the revolution stage, would struggle to escape unscathed. But what puzzled Lin Dong the most was, who could have set up such a massive formation? And what was their purpose? His brows furrowed deeply, mind swirling with questions, as his gaze continued to scan the gigantic magma formation. Since it's a formation, it must have a central core. Lin Dong's eyes flickered as a thought occurred to him. He followed the crisscrossing magma rivers with his eyes, tracing their paths. After a long search, he finally found where all the magma rivers converged. At the center was a massive magma lake, thousands of meters wide. Red magma bubbled constantly, and its heat could incinerate a life mystique stage expert in an instant. Lin Dong's eyes fixed on the center of the magma lake, and suddenly, his pupils shrank. In the center of the lake, there was a stone coffin. The coffin was entirely red, floating silently on the magma. It looked as though it had been crafted from a crimson crystal. The coffin had no lid, and Lin Dong could faintly make out a figure lying inside. By the light of the magma, Lin Dong could barely make out that the figure appeared to be a tall man. His features were strikingly handsome, and even with his eyes closed, a faint sense of authority lingered between his brows. His long, fiery red hair spread out like flames, burning fiercely. Lin Dong stared at the mysterious man lying in the stone coffin. As he gazed, he suddenly felt his blood start to boil. Alarmed, He quickly averted his gaze, and only then did the fiery sensation inside him gradually subside. Even though the strange sensation had faded, Lin Dong's face was still filled with shock. Who was this mysterious man? How could he be so terrifying? Lin Dong had merely glanced at him, and already it felt like he might spontaneously combust. And this was while the man was in an unknown state. If he were fully conscious, wouldn't just a single glance turn Lin Dong to ashes? Gulp. Lin Dong swallowed again, his palms clammy with sweat. The stone coffin floated silently above the magma lake. Though it wasn't large, Lin Dong could faintly detect a subtle, fluctuating energy emanating from within it. That very energy seemed to be powering the massive magma formation surrounding the area. Currents of power surged through the rivers of magma, like giant dragons stretching out and spreading across the space, as if suppressing something beneath. Suppressing? A sudden flash of insight struck Lin Dong's mind. He lowered his head swiftly and noticed that the vast magma formation below seemed to precisely seal off the lower half of this dark space. Below lay a bottomless darkness, so deep that even the glow of the magma could not penetrate it. No one knew what lay hidden at the end of that darkness. The formation split the space into two realms, one where Lin Dong stood and the other beneath, shrouded in darkness. It was like the boundary between the inside and outside of a prison. This formation, it's sealing something. Lin Dong stared into the black depths beneath the formation. A chill ran from his feet to the crown of his head, filling him with unease. It was as if something profoundly malevolent was lurking down there, watching him. This place is too eerie. I shouldn't stay here long. He tightened his expression, now grim. The place reeked of mystery, an enigmatic space, a mysterious formation, an unexplained stone coffin, and a person sealed within. These things were beyond what he could afford to meddle with right now. Taking a deep breath, Lin Dong suppressed his curiosity and decisively turned toward the crimson circle of light that would take him away. Though danger awaited outside, it was still preferable to the dread this place exuded. At least, outside, he would know why he died if it came to that. Having made up his mind, Lin Dong did not hesitate. However, the moment he turned, his expression twisted in shock. Before his eyes, a gentle white radiance flew out from his body. It was the mysterious stone talisman. The talisman shot out, streaking downward toward the stone coffin floating above the magma lake. The sight of it left Lin Dong's scalp tingling with fear. The stone talisman transformed into a gentle white glow, tearing through the darkness and heading straight for the stone coffin. The suddenness of the event stunned Lin Dong, leaving him momentarily frozen. He had never imagined that the talisman, which had always remained dormant inside him, would suddenly act on its own. Snapping back to his senses, Lin Dong immediately tried to recall the talisman using his mind, but to no avail. The talisman ignored him entirely, continuing its course until it hovered directly above the stone coffin. A bead of cold sweat slid down Lin Dong's forehead as he stared at the talisman, not daring to move. He had no idea who, or what, was sealed inside the stone coffin. Was the person within dead or alive? If the talisman awakened this being, the consequences could be catastrophic. And even if the coffin's occupant remained asleep, the talisman might disrupt the formation and release whatever was sealed beneath. That would be a disaster beyond imagination. Despite the tension weighing heavily on him, Lin Dong had no choice but to watch. He couldn't abandon the talisman and flee. It was far too important to him. Suddenly, the stone talisman emitted a soft hum, releasing a wave of white light that enveloped the red-haired man inside the stone coffin. Lin Dong's scalp tightened once again, and an involuntary groan escaped his lips. What was the talisman doing? Was it really trying to awaken the red-haired man? He stared intently at the figure inside the coffin, his primordial energy surging within him, ready for any eventuality. To his relief, the red-haired man did not awaken, nor did the formation show any signs of disturbance. This allowed Lin Dong to ease his tense nerves slightly. As Lin Dong exhaled, a red glow suddenly emerged from the red-haired man's body. The glow floated upward until it stopped beside the stone talisman. With a soft hum, The talisman withdrew its white light and darted back into Lin Dong's body in a flash. The red glow, meanwhile, remained suspended before him. Hesitating for a moment, Lin Dong cautiously extended his hand toward it. The glow drifted into his palm, revealing itself to be a scarlet token once the light faded. The token, about the size of his palm, radiated a faint warmth. It was ancient and unadorned, with no intricate patterns or decorations, yet it exuded an unmistakable aura of majesty. Flipping the token over, Lin Dong noticed an archaic character on its surface, flame. Red light pulsed within the character, flowing like molten magma. The token's appearance was both simple and extraordinary. "What is this?" Lin Dong murmured, perplexed. He could sense an immense and terrifying energy within the token, though he was unable to tap into it. Frowning slightly, he carefully stowed the token away. After carefully storing away the crimson token, Lin Dong cautiously glanced once more at the red-haired man inside the stone coffin. The man still showed no signs of awakening, as if completely unaware that the stone talisman had taken the mysterious token from his body. Lin Dong stood there in a daze for a while, scratching his head. The stone talisman had mysteriously flown out, bringing back yet another strange object. This whole situation was truly baffling. These ancient artifacts are always so enigmatic. Judging by what had just happened, it seemed likely that the mysterious stone talisman had some connection to the red-haired man. If that were the case, then perhaps this red-haired man was also someone from ancient times. After spacing out for a moment, Lin Dong shook his head, trying to dismiss these thoughts. This wasn't the time to dwell on such things. Better get out of here. Although the worst-case scenario hadn't occurred, Lin Dong still felt uneasy in this mysterious space. He didn't dare linger any longer. With a quick turn, he shot toward the crimson light circle behind him. This time, nothing unexpected happened, and he swiftly entered the light circle, disappearing without a trace. As Lin Dong left, the mysterious, dark space once again plunged into an ancient silence. Above the magma lake, the red-haired man lay peacefully in the stone coffin, his fingers interlaced over his chest, exuding a faint aura of authority. Clang! Suddenly, in the boundless darkness, a low, metallic clanking echoed out. The entire space began to tremble violently. Roar! A soul-piercing, sharp screech abruptly erupted from the depths of the darkness. Then came the sound of rattling chains, and the darkness writhed furiously. A colossal, shadowy hand, tens of thousands of feet wide, tore through the blackness and lunged toward the stone coffin at the center of the magma formation. Boom! Just as the giant shadowy hand was about to reach the magma lake, the massive formation, stretching over tens of thousands of feet, suddenly erupted. Rivers of magma surged violently, sending massive waves rolling. The thunderous roar was like that of a magma dragon, shaking the very space. Clang! Amidst the torrent of crimson light, streams of magma began to cascade downward, revealing enormous black chains beneath the magma formation, each chain spanning thousands of feet and inscribed with obscure, complex runes. The magma flowed rapidly along the chains, dyeing them crimson in an instant. As the magma continued to flow, it became clear that these massive chains were binding the colossal shadowy hand. Sizzle! As the chains turned crimson, a towering cloud of white mist erupted from the shadowy hand. A piercing shriek resounded once again from the depths of the darkness as the shadowy hand struggled fiercely. Yet, it remained trapped, unable to break free. In the end, the hand slowly retreated, withdrawing into the terrifying darkness, leaving behind an echo of an unwilling roar that reverberated through the space. After repelling the shadowy hand, the magma formation gradually calmed down, as if the earlier earth-shattering commotion had never occurred. The stone coffin continued to float silently above the magma lake, seemingly unaffected by the recent disturbance. However, this time, a flicker of red light flashed across the handsome face of the red-haired man lying inside. His fingers, clasped over his chest, twitched slightly. Still, he did not awaken. Yet faintly, an intention seemed to float out from him. Within that intent was a hoarse, low murmur. The flame god ancient token has been taken. The aura of the ancestral stone. It was gravely damaged as well. That person carries the scent of the Ice Lord. Has she passed through reincarnation? The low voice echoed through the dark space, slowly dissipating until only silence remained. On the Crimson Plaza, the magma stone pool rippled suddenly, and a figure shot out. As soon as Lindong's figure emerged, the crimson formation surrounding the pool activated again, sending dozens of deadly crimson beams shooting forth. Seeing this, Lindong's face changed drastically. Why am I always this unlucky? No matter where I go, this formation keeps causing trouble. Buzz. Just as Lindong was lamenting his bad luck, a red light suddenly flew out from his Chinkuan pouch, releasing a wave of energy. Instantly, the crimson beams aimed at him disappeared into thin air, and the formation gradually calmed down. Lindong stared in surprise at the scene, then turned to look at the red light in front of him. It was the crimson token that the stone talisman had brought back earlier. It seemed this item could protect its owner from the attacks of the plaza's formation. Well, that's a relief. Lindong breathed a quiet sigh of relief, reaching out to take the crimson token. He tested the formation a few more times, and just as he thought, it no longer attacked him. After a few rounds of trial and error, Lindong finally felt at ease. Sitting down by the magma stone pool, he clenched his hand, and a vital, profound spirit fruit appeared in his palm. Now that the formation no longer posed a threat, this was the perfect place for him to train. With the formation's protection, he wouldn't have to worry about any disturbances. I'll use this place to break through to the life mystique stage. Holding the vital, profound spirit fruit, Lindong's eyes gleamed with anticipation. Around the lake, tents stood tall, with faint bustling sounds emerging from within, where shadowy figures moved about. These figures belonged to the Gu clan, stationed here to guard the area. Now that the struggle over the vital, profound spirit fruit on Xinling Island had ended, the previous commotion quickly faded away, and various groups gradually withdrew over the following days. Only the Gu clan remained, staying behind to protect Gu Yin during her cultivation. At the rear of the camp, a steep green rock stood, atop which a graceful figure sat quietly with her long hair cascading down. From her body emanated waves of powerful primordial energy, spreading out continuously. Around the rock, many young members of the Gu clan kept a close watch, occasionally whispering to one another. The primordial energy fluctuations from Sister Gu Yan's body are getting stronger. It seems she'll soon break through to the minor completion of the life mystique stage, remarked Gu Ying, dressed in red, looking at the meditating Gu Yin with a hint of envy. Haha, if Sister Gu Yin manages to break through to the minor completion of the life mystique stage, our chances at the martial gathering would increase significantly, said another young clan member beside Gu Ying with a smile. Indeed. Brother Yuntian and Sister Mengqi are already at the peak of the minor completion life mystique stage. With Sister Gu Yin joining them, our Gu clan wouldn't need any external help for this gathering. But let's not be overly optimistic. The other four major clans aren't pushovers. The Shin Tu clan, in particular, won the last martial gathering. The fame of Iron Azura, Shun Tu Ju, is widespread across the Celestial Wind Sea region. I've heard he's already attempting to reach the great completion of the life mystique stage, which is quite formidable. Yes, and Wei Jin from the Wei clan reached the peak of the life mystique stage long ago, far surpassing others like Wei Song. This martial gathering is shaping up to be a fierce battle. While the young members of the Gu clan murmured among themselves, Guya crouched by the lakeside, her eyes staring at the still surface of the water. She absent-mindedly fiddled with a blade of grass beside her, a trace of worry occasionally flashing in her eyes. Don't worry, he's not as simple as you think. Even if there are dangers beneath the lake, they wouldn't be able to harm him. A voice spoke behind Guya, interrupting her thoughts. She turned to see Guing standing with her arms crossed, a slight smirk on her lips. Guya nodded hesitantly and said, "But he's been down there for half a month. All you can do now is wait. If you're worried, we can ask Sister Gu Yin to check after she finishes her breakthrough," Guing suggested. Her attitude toward Guya had softened significantly, likely due to Lindong's earlier show of strength. All right, let's wait and see. Time passed quietly, and another half-month slipped by without any sign of Lin Dong emerging from the lake. The young members of the Gu clan grew more curious, though none dared to dive down to investigate. Fortunately, their spirits lifted as the month came to an end, and Gu Yan's cultivation reached its final stage. Rumble. Waves of substantial primordial energy surged out from Gu Yan, who was seated atop the green rock, radiating a formidable pressure. The intensity of this energy caused the nearby young clan members to step back to relieve the mounting pressure. Boom. The pressure continued for a few minutes before the enormous waves of primordial energy abruptly retracted back into Gu Yan's body at a startling speed, accompanied by a faint, thunderous sound. The energy, once spread out, vanished without a trace, and a sudden silence filled the air. This eerie calm lasted only for a moment before Gu Yan's eyes, shut for the past month, abruptly opened. Bang! As her eyes opened, an intense aura erupted from her, shaking the lake's surface and creating massive waves that crashed back down like torrential rain. With a wave of her hand, Gu Yan's primordial energy dispersed the downpour, and a rare hint of joy surfaced on her usually cold face. "Congratulations, Sister Gu Yan." The surrounding clan members quickly gathered, their faces lit up with excitement as they clasped their hands in congratulation. Clearly in high spirits, Gu Yan nodded slightly, then turned her gaze toward the lake. With a hint of surprise, she asked, "He still hasn't come up?" "Yes, Brother Lin Dong went down a month ago and hasn't shown any sign since." "Sister Gu Yan, would you like to check on him?" Gu Yan nodded repeatedly. After a moment's contemplation, Gu Yan replied, "Let's wait a bit longer. Lin Dong has many skills and won't fall into danger easily. If he's working on something down there, disturbing him could be counterproductive." Hearing this, Gu Yan could only nod. "Anything noteworthy during this time?" Gu Yan turned to Gu Ying and the others. "There is. We received a transmission from the essence spirit of the Gu clan, but it requires your activation," Gu Ying replied, quickly producing a blood-red jade slip. Gu Yan's brows furrowed as she took the blood jade. With a gentle grip, she activated her mental energy to read the information contained within. Almost instantly, her expression shifted, becoming a mix of cold anger and fury. "What's going on, Sister Gu Yan?" Gu Ying and the others, startled by her sudden change in demeanor, quickly asked. "Brother Yun Tian has been severely injured." Gu Yan's icy voice couldn't hide her simmering rage. "What? Brother Yun Tian, seriously injured? But he has the strength to break through to the great completion of the life Mystique stage. Who could have done this?" Gu Yan's words caused an uproar among the Gu clan disciples nearby. Their faces darkened as they exclaimed in shock. "It must have been the Wei clan," Gu Yan said, her hands clenching into fists. She recalled what Wei Song had said the other day. Clearly, they had indeed targeted Gu Yun Tian. Those despicable cowards. If Brother Yun Tian is gravely injured, our Gu clan will lose a crucial fighter in the martial gathering. The Wei clan must have planned this deliberately. Gu Ying exclaimed angrily. Gu Yan's brows remained tightly knitted as she murmured, "If Brother Yun Tian can't participate, our Gu clan's chances in the martial gathering will be severely impacted. Sister Gu Yan, each family is allowed to invite an external ally for the martial gathering. We haven't invited anyone yet, have we?" One of the Gu clan disciples hesitantly asked. With less than a month left until the martial gathering starts, it would be too late to find a trustworthy and powerful ally now. Gu Yan shook her head slightly, then paused, noticing how the other disciples' gazes had shifted to the serene lake nearby. Lin Dong could be a good candidate. If we could convince him to help, perhaps he could fill in for Brother Yun Tian. Gu Yan's heart stirred, but she quickly gave a bitter smile. Lin Dong only cooperates with us on specific terms. With his personality, convincing him to act as an ally for our Gu clan won't be easy. Lin Dong may dislike getting involved in troublesome matters, but he's also pragmatic. If we offer something valuable enough, it might not be hard to convince him, Gu Ying suggested. Something valuable? The family that wins the martial gathering gains 3 spots to enter the primordial wilderness tower. I believe that would interest him, Gu Ying said. After all, many in the celestial Windsea region would give anything for a chance to enter the tower. The 5 great families jointly guarded it, and only 3 individuals were allowed to enter each year. The martial gathering was held to determine which family would claim those spots. Gu Yin frowned slightly. The 3 spots were indeed a great temptation, but would it be enough to sway Lin Dong? After all, she had already experienced how difficult it was to persuade him. Let's wait for Lin Dong here. When he comes out, we can talk to him. If he's interested, we'll ask him to be our ally. If not, we'll have to think of another plan, Gu Yin said. Hearing her decision, Gu Ying and the others nodded. For now, this was their best option. Meanwhile, time was swiftly passing in the crimson square beneath the magma, deep at the lake's bottom. By the magma stone pool, a lean figure sat cross-legged, with waves of primordial energy pulsing from his body. Faint, rumbling sounds echoed from within him. Buzz. As the rumblings grew, Lin Dong's tightly closed eyes suddenly snapped open. His brows furrowed deeply as he clenched his fists and muttered, "Peak of the 9th Nirvana stage." With the help of a vital profound spirit fruit, Lin Dong had managed to advance to the peak of the 9th Nirvana stage in just a month. This speed was impressive, but he was not satisfied. His goal was not merely to reach this stage. He sought to truly break through to the Life Mystique stage. Having fought many powerful Life Mystique stage practitioners, Lin Dong knew how formidable that realm was. Even with his talents, he couldn't compete with their immense primordial energy. Life Mystique stage practitioners, with their ability to generate vitality within, had far more abundant energy than Nirvana stage warriors. Their boundless energy could easily overwhelm even a peak 9th Nirvana stage practitioner like Lin Dong. Moreover, the vitality generated within their bodies significantly aided in healing and energy recovery. With such vitality, they could even regenerate severed limbs. The life force born from the Life Mystique stage was a mystical form of healing in itself. Currently, Lin Dong was wandering through the dangerous Chaos Demon Sea. Compared to the Eastern Mystery region, the environment here was far more ruthless. Without sufficient strength, not only would he fail in his quest to find the second ancestral talisman, but he might also lose his life. Therefore, breaking through to the Life Mystique stage was his top priority. Lin Dong understood, however, that reaching this stage was incredibly difficult. For someone like Gu Yin, already at the half-step Life Mystique stage, using the vital profound spirit fruit would naturally lead to an easy breakthrough. But for him, who had just reached the peak of the 9th Nirvana stage, even with the fruit, there was still a significant gap before he could break through to the Life Mystique stage. Crossing this chasm would require drastic measures. With this thought in mind, Lin Dong took a deep breath, clenched his hand, and another vital profound spirit fruit appeared in his palm. Initially, he had obtained 3 such fruits, 2 of which he had already given to Gu Yin and Gu Ya. He had used one earlier, and this last one had originally belonged to the 3-headed demonic flood dragon. Lin Dong gazed at the vital profound spirit fruit in his hand, its emerald hue gleaming like jade. His eyes narrowed slightly, and with a wave of his sleeve, a transparent jade bottle appeared in his hand. Inside the bottle, a thick, emerald liquid slowly flowed, radiating an astonishingly vibrant life force. It was none other than the Earth Core spirit essence he had acquired from the magma stone pool. Let's see if with the help of these 2 treasures, I still can't break through. Lin Dong muttered to himself, tipping the bottle slightly. A drop of the Earth Core spirit essence, resembling a perfect green pearl, rolled out. He had only obtained 8 drops of this precious essence, each containing far more life energy than the vital profound spirit fruit. Yet, at this moment, Lin Dong was willing to part with one, clearly prepared to make a significant sacrifice. The drop of Earth Core spirit essence hovered above his left palm like a rounded jade pearl, while the vital profound spirit fruit rested quietly in his right palm. Powerful and pure energies emanated from both, causing a faint flush to appear on Lin Dong's face. Staring at the 2 treasures in his hands, Lin Dong gritted his teeth and shut his eyes tightly again. Thin black lines seeped from his palms, intertwining around the 2 items. Buzz. As the black threads wrapped around them, the power of devouring erupted. The 2 treasures in his hands unleashed an overwhelming, vast surge of energy, which poured madly into Lin Dong's body. His body trembled slightly as waves of azure light surged forth, continuously reinforcing his physical form. He forcibly absorbed the violent impact of the two surging energies. As the boundless energy rushed into Lin Dong's body, his aura slowly began to rise. Though the growth was gradual, it was undeniably real. The plaza, bathed in crimson light, was silent, save for the faint rumbling of primordial energy within Lin Dong's body, quietly echoing through the square. Time passed swiftly in this stillness, and in the blink of an eye, half a month had gone by. Boom! As the half-month mark arrived, the figure sitting motionlessly beside the magma stone pool trembled slightly. His aura had grown noticeably stronger, and the sheer abundance of primordial energy in his body was now comparable to that of a half-step life Mystique stage expert. Yet, this still wasn't enough for Lin Dong. He sought a genuine breakthrough into the life Mystique stage. Thunk! As if responding to the roar within Lin Dong's heart, the primordial energy in his body suddenly began to boil. All of it surged wildly through his meridians, transforming into two vast torrents of energy. These torrents, like two raging dragons, roared through his body and clashed violently in front of his energy core. At the moment of impact, Lin Dong's body trembled violently. Strange ripples spread rapidly from within him, causing even his flesh to undulate. Boom! Boom! The clashing energies poured through his body like a torrential downpour. At the point of collision, a wisp of pale white energy appeared out of thin air. Buzz! The moment the pale white energy appeared, the raging primordial energy within Lin Dong's body instantly calmed down and converged around it. Like stars surrounding the moon, the primordial energy cautiously enveloped the pale white energy and began to absorb it. Boom! Boom! As the primordial energy absorbed this wisp of energy, Lin Dong could feel his own energy soaring at an astonishing speed. The rapid increase in energy caused his meridians to swell painfully, but instead of panic, Lin Dong felt a surge of joy. He knew that this wisp of pale white energy was his own life force, forged through his efforts. This was his very own life energy, primordial energy for soul absorption. Lin Dong suppressed his excitement and, with a thought, directed the rapidly growing energy into his energy core, where it poured into the essence spirit resting atop the dragon spirit wheel. The small body of the essence spirit absorbed all the incoming energy without hesitation, like a bottomless pit. As the vast amount of energy poured in, the golden light radiating from the essence spirit grew even brighter. Its small form became more solid, shedding its previously illusory state. Boom! The essence spirit sat cross-legged, and as the last surge of primordial energy was absorbed, its tightly shut eyes suddenly opened. A brilliant golden light shot out, seemingly piercing through Lin Dong's entire body. In that instant, Lin Dong could feel a subtle transformation happening within him. He was becoming stronger. Whoosh! Beside the magma stone pool, Lin Dong's eyes shot open, and an overwhelming aura exploded from his body, impossible to contain.